Sorry about that. Hi there. Welcome to our Thursday meditation. I hope that you took yesterday and took that patience with you into the evening. I think we're all just kind of, using that patience to get by right now. Very important that we keep that patience and that we keep ourselves calm and we keep ourselves with some quiet and some stillness. And that's what this half hour is for. It's for us to regroup a little bit. I don't know about you, but I check my computer, my phone, even when nothing's going on. And maybe it's my anxiety, but that patience is still needed right now. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. As we move on, I wanted to touch upon what is considered one of the most difficult sections of the entire Torah, and that is Abraham bringing his son to be sacrificed by his hand. And there are so many books written about the Akedah of this story. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and leading to, not making any rash decisions like Abraham did. But there's another section in this part of the Torah that I've always found to be fascinating. Two things I'll mention. The first one has to do with our work lives. I always think of Judaism and monotheism, one might say, as Abraham's work. This is what he did, right? This is what he did for a living. That was his work. That was his calling, was to pass on this idea that there is one God and God is there for us. So when God comes and asks Abraham to sacrifice his son and he doesn't question it, I've always thought that he was a little bit occupation blind, that it was so important for him to do his work that he somehow lost the idea that Isaac was important to him, too important to take up onto a mountain and to kill. And I think especially during the coronavirus, when there is so little, there's so little boundaries between our work lives and our home lives. I mean, literally, I'm sitting here in my living room. My daughter's in the next room. She walked in here at about 5:20, and I was just sitting in this spot reading something, and she looks at me. She goes, "Oh, are you doing the meditation yet?" It's like in my house is the synagogue. This is where my work happens, but this is also where my family happens, and this is where my entertainment happens, and this is where everything, my restaurant is here, right? Because I don't go out to restaurants, but I'll order food in. Everything happens in our home. And it's very easy to allow our work life and the things we kind of have to do because we have professions, that work life can take over everything and we can forget. So my first message today is, let's not forget what's important. Let's not forget that, yes, it is important to make a living. It is important to do that which we do every single day for our occupations. But we can't let that get in the way of what's most important, and that is our friends and our family and the people we live our lives with. And we can't disregard that. So that's my first message I'd like to put out there today, based on Abraham's actions of let's not let our work take over every other aspect of our lives. I know how difficult that is given what's happening in the world right now, but I think that's really important to consider. The second is, there are some times where we convince ourselves that what we are doing is right. Sometimes we can convince ourselves that the direction we're going is the right direction. As Abraham felt, the direction he was going was the right direction. God asked him to sacrifice his son on this mountain, so he goes and he does it. And that's what he was asked to do, and he's doing that, and he must have felt that that was the right thing to do in this particular situation. So he walks for 3 days, and at the end of that, there's a line that says, and Abraham lifted up his eyes, and he saw. Later, when Isaac asks Abraham, where's the ram for the burnt offering? Abraham's response is, God will make seen, from the same root as he lifted up his eyes and saw, will make seen the sacrifice. Then when Abraham gets up there, when he's about to kill his son, he reaches out to grab the knife, he lifts up his eyes, and he saw, well, first of all, he's called by the angel not to do it. And then he lifts up his eyes and he sees the ram in the thicket, and he sacrifices the ram instead. He lifted up his eyes and he saw. Sometimes I feel like what I'm doing is in a tunnel, or I've got tunnel vision. Sometimes I feel like I'm so concentrating on the things I have to get done that I'm not looking around. I'm not taking into consideration what's happening. And I'd like this to serve as a reminder to us. Every once in a while, look up. Try to see the truth in a moment. Try to recognize what's really happening. And there could be times when we're going through, and we go through, and we live our lives, and we go through, and we go through it, and we go through it. And it doesn't turn out to be the right direction. But we didn't know it because our heads were just always down doing it. Sometimes it's very important to lift up your eyes and to see the truth of the moment. That doesn't necessarily mean that that what you're doing is going to be negative. You could lift up your eyes and see that this is exactly where you should be. This is exactly what you should be doing. But I think our mindfulness practice that we've been working on over the last 8-9 months is to lift up your eyes and see, to notice those things you're thinking about. Notice the tensions that are in your body and in your mind. Notice the anxieties that you're having at any particular moment. Notice by seeing. Seeing is knowing. Seeing is recognizing. Seeing is admitting the truth of a moment. So I think that's a good lesson for us, to take the time that we're taking now during our meditations, but throughout our lives as well, to take that moment to lift up your eyes and see. It sounds simple, but sometimes we lift up our eyes and we don't see. We lift up our eyes and there's something clouding our vision. Stay with it a little bit. Ask yourself the questions. Is this the direction I want? Is this right? Do I see what I need to be seeing? Am I doing what I need to be doing? And to Abraham's credit, he was able to lift up his eyes and see. And you think about the one they're traveling for 3 days, they're walking through the desert, he lifts up his eyes and he sees the mountain in front of him and knows that that's the place. So too with us, right? We could be going along and whatever we're doing, we metaphorically lift up our eyes and we see, there it is. That's what we've got to be doing. Sorry about the sports reference, but it's like a quarterback who's scrambling away from somebody. The really good ones keep their eyes up and are still looking out. The ones that aren't as good have already tucked it away and they're running no matter what. When you open up your eyes and you keep your head up and you're looking around, it leads to the possibilities that are in front of us. as opposed to I've made up my mind this is what I'm doing, whether it's the best thing or not. So I think what I'm asking us to do is keep our head up, keep our eyes forward, look towards the future in terms of the direction that we're going to try to determine whether that's indeed the direction we want to be going in. With all that in mind, let's move to our quiet time. Quiet time will be filled with thought. Let's just notice the thought. It might be filled with realizations of certain things based on what I've been talking about. It's okay. Let's just bring ourselves back to our breath as we do, and see if we can find some stillness and peace for the next 20 minutes that we can take with us into the evening. So let's get comfortable and strong. Just going to breathe normally. We're not trying to fix our breath. We're not trying to push our breath. Just a nice, easy breath. We're just allowing everything to be as it is for now. That when I say don't try to do any special breath, it may be that you do need to take a deep breath just because that's what you need. That's okay. It's just we're not trying to push that. I'm not saying let's take deep breaths, or let's just notice how your breath enters into your body. As your thoughts come into your mind, notice them and convince yourself, you know what, we have to come back to our breath. We have to breathe. No judgment. No, oh my God, I'm so bad at this meditation, I'm constantly thinking. That's part of it. We're training ourselves to find stillness and to find our breath. So you just bring yourself back in love, kindness, and chesed. So I'd like us now, I invite you to bring on two feelings as we end our session today. The last part of our pre-sleep benediction asks for joy and wholeness. So we say, may I feel joy. May I feel wholeness. You could say, may I feel joyous. May I feel whole. May I feel joyous and whole. May I feel wholeness. May I feel joy. May I feel wholeness. May I feel joy. Perhaps this is wishful thinking for some people that are looking at the election, and we feel joy. But the wholeness is all parts of our life coming together, and really an understanding that we are whole. It's a realization that we are, that we're made up of so many different parts. May I feel joy. May I feel wholeness. May I feel wholeness and joy. Just keep that for a couple of breaths. Feel wholeness. May I feel joy and wholeness. I hope that joy and wholeness follows each of us. And let's just finish on our breath. Just paying attention to what is going on in our bodies. Where's there tension? Where's there not? Where am I holding on and where can I let go? As we have these final moments of quiet. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you do find that joy and wholeness. Hope you have a wonderful Shabbat over the weekend. Let's keep the patience. Let's keep our eyes open, looking ahead, seeing. I hope you have a wonderful evening.